All right, hello, welcome back to another wee bit different video. Today's video, we have a good one, NBA tiers of contention. Now, I don't know about you guys, but I love me a good article every now and then. What I mean by every now and then, I mean, honestly, maybe a couple times a day. Love reading me some good articles. But anyway, we got a good one by The Score. Don't know the author. Oh, Joseph. Oh, God, I'm going to totally botch this last name. Cassiaro? Maybe? Anyway, I really like the concept of it. Just putting teams into tiers and seeing, how they stack up in terms of championship hopes. I will be giving my 2 cents if I agree or disagree on the placements. But all in all, feel free to check out the article yourselves. But anyway, let's get straight into it. First here, we got undisputed champs, Oklahoma City Thunder. I'm not going to read everything here, but I will say 100% agree. OKC right now are undisputed champs, obviously, and they're at the top of the mountain. They're the team to beat next year. Now we got tier 1B legit contenders. Houston Rockets. Amen, KD, Sengun, Dorian Finney-Smith now, Steven Adams, Jabari Smith, Tari Eason. I know I'm missing some more names, but you guys get the gist. They got a squad. Would I agree that Houston Rockets are definitely the top tier of contending teams? I would say yes, honestly, considering how good they were this year, 52 games won, as you see here. I would agree with this. I think that they got the player that they needed the most in KD being the closer that they missed. Jalen Green is not a good closer. He's not someone who you can depend on in the biggest moments. And not only that, you're getting the development of these players like Amen, and Sengun can definitely still get better. Reed Shepard's still there. He can still get better. So Houston Rockets are definitely a scary team moving forward. Denver Nuggets. I would agree. Denver Nuggets are scary contenders because, they traded away Michael Porter Jr., but they added Cam Johnson. They added, of course, Bruce Brown. Back when, they won the championship, Bruce Brown was there. Tim Hardaway Jr., who, typically you hear that and you're thinking, that's not a crazy pickup. When you put a shooter with Jokic, that's what you need. And this team just didn't have shooting last year. And maybe Jonas Valanciunas, depending on if he decides to stick with the Nuggets. But I would also agree, the Nuggets are definitely contenders along with the Rockets. And of course, you are afraid of Thunder the most, but those two teams are very close. East Cavaliers. Well, because they're on the East for one, yes. I think they sit atop of the East right now. I don't think they'd beat the Thunder, but yeah, just being in the East alone puts you in a serious spot of an advantage, along with the Knicks, of course, because Pacers and Celtics are out of it this year. They're not going to be championship contenders. With the loss of their best players, that's going to happen to you. Anyway, keeping it going, I don't need to evaluate too much with the Cavs and Knicks just because, again, they're the two remaining teams who are top dogs on the fringes, tier 2. So these are the teams that are closer, maybe a piece away. Timberwolves, they did lose Nickeil Alexander-Walker. Their offseason has been weird because, they brought back Julius Randle, brought back Naz Reid, and then they're just really hoping on Rob Dillingham and Terrence Shannon Jr. I don't know, man. I really think they're missing a piece. You can definitely bank on the fact that Ant is going to be better. Bank on the fact that you still have some young pieces like these two who can be better, but ultimately I would agree. They're just not on the same level as the Nuggets and Rockets are the Timberwolves. Keeping it going, the Clippers. I don't know if I would necessarily categorize the Clippers as, on the fringe as much as the Timberwolves or even the Lakers, seeing down here. My reason being is this team can get hurt in any given game. Of course, they got Kawhi Leonard, who is notorious for being injured a lot. You have a player in Bradley Beal who's injured a lot. You have a player in James Harden who's not so much injured a lot, but he's notorious for not showing up in the playoffs in the bigger moments. It's just a fact. It's what his career has led up to this point. Now, can he change the narrative? Of course. You still have Zubac, who improved vastly last year. Bringing in Brook Lopez. You replace Norman Powell with John Collins. Chris Paul says likely, but Hasn't signed there yet, and even if he does, what's Chris Paul going to do at this point in his career? I just don't know, man. I would say good coaching, solid squad, but they have like a 1% chance of winning the NBA Finals. And that 1% chance is assuming that they can make a splash trade for someone else, because this current roster, unless other rosters get hurt, has a 0% chance of winning, in my opinion. They're just older. It's really what it is. And I think they're more than a piece away, to be honest. Los Angeles Lakers. Okay, this is an interesting one because any team with Luka is going to have a chance. Any team with LeBron is going to have a chance, despite criticism, and how people feel towards LeBron. LeBron is still averaging 24 fucking points a game, 7 or 8 rebounds, whatever it is, 7 or 8 assists, whatever it is. Still a really good player. I don't know if you guys saw in my last video, but yeah, we had these comments of people bashing on LeBron because he doesn't show up in the fourth quarter, but he quite literally had the second most points scored in the fourth quarter last season. So, I don't mind, when people comment and sit and speak their piece, but my biggest thing is, just don't be dumb, don't be an idiot. And what I mean by that is there's having an opinion, and then there's just being blatantly wrong. And to say LeBron has fallen off in the fourth quarter is disgusting, to be honest. It's factually just incorrect. Have your opinions, love to hear them, but again, there's levels to it, right? Am I going to sit here and say Ben Simmons is the greatest point guard of all time? Sure. Is it an opinion? Yeah. Is it dumb? Yeah. Anyway, I don't know why I keep using Ben Simmons as an example. I feel like this is the 4th time in this channel's lifetime where I've used Ben Simmons as an example, but you guys get the point. Of course, losing Dorian Finney-Smith hurts. However, this is key. DeAndre Ayton, and where is it? Is the name mentioned on here? Jake LaRavia being added, definitely a big deal. They still need to make another move, to be honest with you, because this roster still isn't enough, but we'll see what they do. I would agree in the placement of the Lakers here. Warriors is interesting because you have to have a healthy Jimmy. You have to be good enough in the regular season to not have a matchup with the Thunder or Nuggets. You know what I mean? Because Jimmy does what he does, but in the playoffs, not so much in the regular season. And he misses games in the regular season, as does Steph sometimes. So we'll see what they do with Jonathan Kuminga. See if they can get some moves from it. They of course lost Kevon Looney. Maybe they do add Al Horford. That would help, but I'm not sure how I'm feeling about the Golden State Warriors. I don't know if this is a spot where they're a fringe team. I would disagree, honestly. Tier 3, if everything breaks right, Philadelphia 76ers. Okay, Embiid's healthy. They got a chance in the East. Tyrese Maxey's healthy. They got a solid chance in the East. Paul George is back to Paul George. I would say in the East, you can make some noise just because, well, it's the East. Like, that's just the reality of it. So, yeah, I would agree with it. If everything goes their way, you never know. You just never know. However, it is important to note that Paul George did sustain another injury. He did have to get surgery. We'll see how that goes. Milwaukee Bucks, no. Nope. East or not, I mean, they just don't have the roster. We went through the assets of what they could possibly trade in a video prior. I'm a big believer that they should trade Giannis due to the fact that they just do not have the pieces to support him long term. You get a guy in Miles Turner, right? And, I think his name is bigger than his production. If you looked at his NBA Finals production, it wasn't good. Just being blunt, it just wasn't good. Miles Turner, no disrespect to him because he's a really good player, right? But if you're going to waive Dame's contract, pay that much money out just to sign a guy and also pay him $100 million, he better be the difference maker. And as good as he is, he's not a second piece to a championship squad because he's not even he wasn't even the second best player on the Pacers, let alone the third best player on an every night basis. It would definitely be Nembhard at times or Nesmith at times. So not the biggest fan of Milwaukee having the chance. Dallas Mavericks are not winning a title this year, period. You're not doing it with the rookie. I disagree with the Grizzlies being on here and the Mavericks being on here if everything breaks right. Even the Bucks. So that's 3 teams I just genuinely disagree with. Hey, it's the East. You got Magic, Hawks. Okay, first of all, Magic to me have a chance. You add Ty Jones, you add Desmond Bane, you bring back a healthy squad of Jalen Suggs. Hopefully Moritz Wagner can come back healthy. You still have Paolo Banchero and Franz Wagner who are already really good. This team can do stuff. They honestly can because the East is wide open. To me, they're going to be better than the Bucks. They're going to be better than the Hawks. They're going to be better than... What was the other East team? I don't remember. They're going to be better than the Sixers. You get my point. I'm a believer that due to this team being in the East, they got a shot. They got a shot. I'm not saying they're winning the championship. Hold the door there. But they got a shot to make some noise. Atlanta Hawks, love the decision they made with adding Nickeil Alexander-Walker. Luke Kennard is an interesting choice if he wants to shoot the ball more. As good of a shooter as he is, it's like he doesn't realize it sometimes. I've talked about that briefly in videos in the past. Kristaps Porzingis, if he's healthy, great decision, but that's the thing is you don't know. And Jalen Johnson's finally going to come back healthy. So Pistons, Hawks, yeah, I could see as teams that, it's the East. And Pistons to me, while you do lose Tim Hardaway, that's not the biggest loss. Malik Beasley, there's shit going on with him with the whole betting scandal. I don't know if they cleared him or not, but you still have Oscar Thompson returning. Not only that, the addition of Karis LeVert to me was super, super, super solid. Duncan Robinson was an overpay, but on a Cade Cunningham-led team, that could be interesting. Tier 5, we have the unicorn factor. San Antonio Spurs. Okay, with the Spurs, really it just comes down to the young Bucks developing, and they don't have the championship expectations this season, let's just be honest, due to the fact that, for one, Wemby had the blood clot, wasn't able to be active for who knows how long. He just got cleared recently. You just drafted Dylan Harper. Stephon Castle's still developing. You still got other guys who are still young, still developing. De'Aaron Fox is there, who's going to help and, push this team even more. But is this the year? I'm not entirely confident, to be honest with you. But they do have assets that they wanted to make a trade. So maybe the Spurs, prove that they're a good enough team, and then trade deadline, they make a big trade because, this, we might not even win it this year, but we're going to give Wemby, Stephon Castle, Dylan Harper these looks at a taste of winning, and then the following year, that's the breakout year. So I don't think the Spurs are winning it this year, period. Just too much going against them with experience, because really, rarely do you ever get a team with 0 playoff experience that actually goes all the way. I can't even recall the last time a team with no playoff experience won the whole thing. I can't recall a time. And for the Spurs, that's just the reality of it. They have too many guys who haven't been in that spot. So this year, get a taste of it. Next year, maybe actually compete for it. Similar to the Thunder, where they got a taste of it, and then this year they won it. So let me know what you guys think. What do you think about the tiers? Do you agree or disagree with the spots? There are some spots I did disagree with. There are some spots I did agree with. All in all, I think it's a very good article. You know what I mean? Well laid out. Let me know what you guys think, though. Love to hear your opinion. I greatly appreciate you guys for watching. Feel free to like, subscribe. It goes a long way to help the channel. As always, this is Ollie Been Different. All we've been different. And we out.